webinar. That's very nice. I feel like if it was that little dog. Thank you very much, Katarina. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my webinar. Broadcasting live from Mexico City. This is Alberto Alvarado, me myself. This is my YouTube channel. In any case, if you haven't subscribed, I strongly suggest you to do so. And excuse me because I'm talking this fast, but unfortunately, I've been having a lot of problems with either my internet connection or the energy here. We just had a blackout some hours ago, and the energy was reestablished some minutes ago. So I said, you know what? I haven't broadcast in 2 days, so I really need to do that because I guess it's only been one webinar this week, and it's not fair for anybody. So, yeah, I am here, but maybe I will try to shrink it. Usually an hour is not enough for me, so half an hour, it's maybe just, it's going to be a briefing of the markets. Well, first of all, let me launch my screen sharing to have some screenshots. And another thing that I noticed, Katarina, is that I don't know if the screen is smaller because my picture looks so big. Usually it was not that way, but I'm not sure. Ah, okay. Yeah, now it looks more or less the same. Okay, let me open this and okay. Yeah, I realized I was having a big head in this case and a big face. So, well, in the meanwhile this is launched, I would like to, more or less, you can expect what we're going to talk about. Yesterday and the day before, we had some, they were supposed to be bullish comments on the United States dollar. I haven't been aware if something happened after the United States dollar fundamental release. Let me give you the exact data. The exact data yesterday that was super bullish for the USD was the manufacturing sales. That was pretty much 100% of the percent above of what it was expected. We expected 1.4 and we had 2.3. So the double of 1.4 is 2.8. So, well, maybe it's not 100% more, but it's 75%. We have the CPI month over month, 100% above expected in terms of percentages. 0.3 expected and 0.6. The core retail sales was 100% perspective of percentages, 0.4 to 0.8. And the retail sales, it was massive. It was 0.1% to 0.4%. But the real thing here is that one day before we had Mrs. Yellen talking to the Congress, and she said precisely the things that made the investors and the economic community to feel reassured that maybe the monetary policy in the United States won't switch just because Donald Trump wants it. We have to consider that usually the Fed is considered to be independent, but of course, and overall, you are the kind of president like POTUS, you know how to push people and how to make things done the way you want it. The thing is that so far, unfortunately for him, he has realized that not everything is possible just because of he signed executive orders. I was commenting to other fellow traders that the real deal on the comments by Yellen and these kind of numbers, either whether Donald Trump wants to accept it or not, this is part of the legacy of Barack Obama. This kind of performance. This is the evidence that Obama somewhat, whether people want to accept it or not, did the right stuff in the right direction. And still, even he left the office, the results are even there. If I'm not wrong, not in a single 8-year of Obama administration we had such great results, but we have had very good, how do you say it, fundamental data since I believe in the last 2 years, but this one was amazing overall because this talks about the small consumer, the consumer. This is how the economy is felt in the day-to-day life of people. This is not macro thing that someday people will enjoy. No, this has nothing to do with it. This is real economic feel. So this will put in check again, if it was not even more difficult for Donald Trump. Because once the economic factors, economic actors realize this, what do you think it's going to happen if he decides to start tweaking and switching and making experiments in the economy? You know whom are going to be the best, the first one wanting to stop that? Precisely the economic actors, including Wall Street. Because in Wall Street, if something is delivering good results and you touch it, you cannot guarantee anybody that you're not going to spoil it all in your experiment. And that's something the markets won't reward. Whether you want to accept it or not, even Wall Street manages the idea of if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I really see very difficult with this kind of results that actually POTUS will be able to do the wild stuff, including this NAFTA re-agreement. I believe that he will try to delay it, because if this was supposed to be the worst trading agreement for the United States, but even though we're having this such amazing retail sales in the United States, I mean, well, imagine if it was not that bad. I mean, this you can fight at ideas. Maybe you disagree with me, I disagree with you, etc. We can argue. We can get into arguments of ideas. But when you have results, you cannot discuss results because they are there. Those are evidence. These numbers show to the people, whether you want to accept it or not, things have been done correctly lately, because these results are the results of a strategy followed during at least 4 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see the reaction by POTUS. I have seen that he changed the tone of his declarations. He's trying to become more institutional. I believe that he was advised to do so because one thing I am sure, occupying the office of the United States presidency, you will get way more being educated, gentle, empathic, than being rude, aggressive. And I believe that he has been advised to do so. Because, yeah, he found that the wall he wants to build is going to be super expensive. That there is no easy way to make directly and indirectly. Directly there is no way, unless he steals something from Mexico. But making pay Mexico indirectly because of rearrangement of the NAFTA, it's very difficult, and that's not going to happen in the next 2 years, unless he really wants to drop the NAFTA. And I believe with these results, you're going to find a lot of people, including a lot of his followers, a part of his team, saying, you know what, Trump, just chill out a little bit because this has shown to be not that bad. So I believe in conclusion that he's been advised to change a little bit the way he approaches to stuff, maybe to delegate some more sophisticated things, like one of the conclusions of this meeting this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Prime Minister of Japan. Okay. That they decided, or that he told Trump, and I don't know if he agreed, that yeah, maybe it's a good idea just to let the finance and monetary policy stuff to the specialists, to the finance ministers. And I believe that's happening here in Mexico after having this aggressive speech against Mexico, etc. We're going to have the visit of two very important ministers. I believe the Homeland Security and another one in Mexico in February 23rd. And that's the good news because we cannot break relationships. But the sure thing is that we simply cannot talk with Donald Trump because he doesn't know how to negotiate. Even if he likes to believe that, he has shown otherwise. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He knows how to impose. So the markets now are trying to say, okay, we have this kind of personality from Donald Trump, but actually the economic deliverable results are good. even in the retail side, that they should be supposed to be like the least ones to feel any kind of improvement are the normal ordinary people like us. Okay, so well, it's going to be very interesting. When I said that it was supposed to be bullish, it's because yeah, it was supposed to be bullish, but the markets reacted kind of shy after hours after. Actually, well, that had a huge impact in my contest account. Again, I will show you why, and I will show you, since I have only 15 minutes remaining, I will have only time to explain the New Zealand dollar trade that I was following for some time now. I really like this new logo. it has a headset. I believe this thing in his ear was kind of, I don't know what. I just realized it's a headset. It's very nice. Well, first of all, realize this, okay? I'm going to tell you something. I believe this is not the worst contest in trader contest of mine. I believe that this has been the worst demo contest ever in my life. I am standing at 330th place with 23.3. You could say, well, but that was the way you closed it last week. Yes, but actually I put this into the 37 something and I lost it. So yeah, I am not happy with the results, but well, you know what? It's a demo contest. Unfortunately, in this case, the latest mistakes in these demos, they actually happen in my live accounts. So yeah, there were not only mistakes I made in the demo. Of course, are mistakes that could be outperformed if the trades that I have open now are okay, are correct. This is the thing. You know what? Let me put the historical trades, because if not, I cannot exactly give you an idea what I did. This is 4 hour. Let's see, 4 hour. Okay, this is the one I am looking for. So here it is. You remember that I shorted this thing here. Let me use a laser. Here is the single thing. We had the market actually moving down and down. Okay. I closed it here, as you can see. So we have this. This trade actually made me go to the 37,000. Then it retraced and I decided to short it again. But then we have Miss Yellen's speech. Okay. Then I closed the trade here at barely profit, like 200 pip, like 10 pip, euro dollar pip. And I decided to launch here. Because in my reading of the Mexican peso, I still hold that this in the long term, medium term should go upside because of the fundamentals of Mexico. Now it's only a readjustment thing that we're having after Donald Trump's election. If you remember, we have a massive in the weekly chart. Let me have a quick snapshot here. This is the weekly chart in the Mexican peso. I've been talking about this ascending triangle. This is Donald Trump being elected. This is the uncertainty after. This is just before the moment he started serving as a president, and then we had this sell-off. But between here, as you can see, we are touching a very clear support zone. But this support zone could run from the 20.3 that we are now to even the 19.5. So the real deal of the markets we're trying to figure out is where is we have this zone. This zone is support. The directional trend of Mexican peso is to the downside, meaning that this will continue going to the upside. But the thing is where the market will start, when and where is the support that will feel the market confident to start the new rally that maybe would go to the 22, stabilize a little bit between 22 and 21, and then continue going up for the next 2 years, like all these things that happen during a lot of time. So yeah, that's why I kept shorting this, and actually, as you can see, I have been good at that because I shorted here, I closed it here, and I shorted here, and I closed it here. Even after the spike, I decided just to close it because of the meaning of the words of Yellen. It retraced pretty much to the low of this, and then we had yesterday's data, putting me again in profit, but then retracing again. Now it's heading to the break-even area. Okay, this is something. This is a kind of different trade that I open. I always say, people, don't chase the price. But what I mean with chasing the price is not technically chase it. When you're positioned in the fundamental direction, you know that actually the market could not immediately give you the reason. But if you, and I've been saying here, if you're playing it within the direction of the fundamentals or even the technicals long term, you can play with bigger stop losses as long as you are really willing to wait the necessary time to allow your position, to get profitable. You can easily here, for example, if I long here, if I was a real long-term trader, maybe I would put the stop loss below the 20, for example, and that doesn't mean that I will have to close it, because I know that the fundamental direction takes its time. They have no rush to start. But I believe that the timing in this case, the market's already testing a support zone, but maybe there was not there the trigger yet to feel the market confident to continue at least the next rally to the 22. That's what I believe. But yesterday, fundamental data plus 1 day before Yellen's speech, at least for me, is more than good enough for the markets to realize that things are pretty much to continue the same in the monetary policy side. We have to see this super tax reform that Patus wants to propose. But we need to understand that this kind of tax reforms are usually targeted when you have a weak economy, when you have no bonanza in your economy. So maybe even this tax reform could not have the expected good result that he wants, but it's way easier to apply that tax reform that is a tax cut than when you want to increase taxes. So yeah, what I believe is that the markets have a no-brainer that we're going to see the first 2 years of Donald Trump of presidency maybe having a very good result in the economy. That is it's going to be used by him in 2 or 3 years to say that thanks to him the economy is doing great, but actually it is not. The presidents received the last of the 4 years of presidency of the last president, meaning Barack Obama really received the last 4 years performance of his predecessor, and only the last 4 actually he can make things that will inherit to the next one. So yeah, Barack Obama, even for some considered socialist, and yes, I must agree with that, he behaves like a socialist. Having a mixture of capitalism and socialism is not a sin. I mean, the capitalism is not there to be the god of everybody. You still can have social feelings, and there's nothing bad with it. And here are the good results. So, well, I believe that in this case of the USD-MXN, the Mexican dollar versus Mexican peso, it has been retesting the support here and here and here and here and here, but this latest thing should, in my opinion, move the price to at least the 21. Problem. In my account, I wanted to show you, and I keep receiving criticisms on how I share this kind of information, because it said that it reduces my credibility. I actually believe it's the complete opposite. Okay, let me have another one. Here it is. Here is my account, 22,500. I am in 120 in the margin usage. So yeah, in any case, this trade touches the very bottom of the swing at 22, below 22, I will have a margin call. So maybe only if that happens, I will just drop this competition, because that will be pretty much impossible to even to make it to the break-even area. So Just wanted to let you know that, as I just shared to you, my sentiment was bearish on the dollar Mexican peso, even to the point that I believe that it could touch the 20. But this is why we need to be aware of the fundamentals and give them a personal meaning. Because when you go to the news, you see one thing, but you need to say, okay, from all this idea buffet in the media, what actually works for me, what I actually like, and what actually I can put it in a, yeah, sorry, back, uh, in a trading wire. Okay, so well, this is maybe the last trade that I will keep open. This should become profitable between today and tomorrow to support a potential weekend leverage cut. In any case that it doesn't, I will have to close it either in loss or winning, and that will depend if I continue the next week trying to at least get to the plus 50%. It depends on the result of this trade, okay? Because yeah, at times you have to decide that. Here I don't have any kind of advantage with the punctuation. Only if I made it to the 75-80% of my account original size, maybe it could help me. But having this, it's losing a drawdown thing that I cannot fix in my 6 and 12 month competition. So let's move quickly. We have 4 minutes. This is the weekly chart in the New Zealand dollar. If you remember, I opened a trade here in my trading account, in my demo account, and this trade I opened it in live accounts. I decided to go long somewhere here, to the 74. I told you that here I would have, in a traditional moment, taken profit and then put the rest to target the zone. But since this was a competition, and I really was urged into having my account rebuilt. This is the best example why greed, you need to get rid of greed when you trade live accounts. It went down to downside. Okay, so yes, my trade was closing a loss, but I didn't regret it because, yeah, look how much this has sold off. In my live account, this couldn't be done in the trading account. I shorted here between the 70, more or less here, in the 72. I shorted this thing because this is the weekly breakout that we follow during 2 weeks. We have New Zealand Central Bank being dovish. It sent this to the floor. Then we had Yellen confirming it to the floor, and then we had yesterday good American data sending it to the floor initially and then jumping on quickly. We're going to review this tomorrow in more depth. But the thing is that we have a reason why, after having a false, apparently what is, it's going to be a false breakout in the New Zealand dollar, why you could see this happening. The market trying to retest a psychological weekly trend and try to trigger the most part of stop losses here. This has a reason, and I will explain you why. It could be wrong, it could be right, but it will make a lot of sense. And this is something that you can anticipate to see a lot of times during your trading career. What I expect here is that the market is only trying to shake the hands of the weak ones, of the weak hands, just to continue to put the price below this. Because under such and these circumstances now, it's simply not sustainable by any means to have the New Zealand dollar staying above this line, the 72 zone, for long. So yeah, I expect that this should then move down to the 71. But of course, we need to see what happens. So I would like to thank everybody for showing up. It's time to close it and call it a webinar. We have next my dear friend Rokas from Lithuania. So stay with him and enjoy his webinar too. Remember that I expect you tomorrow, 1 hour, to explain you all this. Remember to trade safe, be safe, and bye-bye.